Let's start it off like we always started it off. Welcome to the USA, where everyone needs a gimmick. It's been a very, very, very long time. And I have felt like I've needed an update, not necessarily for YouTube, but an update for myself. I've wanted to talk about a lot of things, and it's been such a long time since I've actually made a video where I've been in front of the camera, one that actually makes it to the internet, because a lot of stuff has happened in my life, to me specifically, and it's very difficult to talk about because it's very personal, and I've never wanted to come on here and talk about it and start something or have people interfere in my life or say this or that. But there's a lot of stuff that I've needed to say for myself. I doubt anyone's going to watch this video. Maybe people that I share it and I bat my eyes and beg for them to watch it. You know, people in my life. If that's one of you, thank you for tuning in. When I first started this channel, I remember sitting in my basement after another very personal thing happened. I was alone. My family kind of disintegrated, and I remember being in my grandmother's basement, just sitting in the corner staring out into the giant basement, just being completely alone and needing something to cling to. And this channel was what I clung to. I remember sitting there just staring like, what is my name? What is my name? Like, I need a name. I need a persona. I was a huge fan of the Nostalgia Critic, so I was trying to I be inspired by something to have a starting point. And I ultimately was like, gimmick. What is my gimmick? I am gimmick. What is my identity? And that is something I've been struggling with for a very long time, so I think it's very poignant that I went with the name Gimmick. And not to mention that I'm a huge wrestling fan. But I made videos, and I made all of these silly things. Come on up, bud. I don't know if he ever made the Spotlight, but this is Jason. He's always been with me for a very long time. Sorry if I'm blurred. It is so hard to see in these glasses and this whole thing. And I've always had trouble seeing the camera and if I'm in focus at all. But point is, I started this channel when I really didn't know who I was. It's taken a long time for me to feel comfortable speaking. I made YouTube videos for specific people in my life because I felt like if I targeted them as an audience, because I know what they liked, that it would make it easier for me to make something that someone might like. I said a lot of things I don't agree with, but I fell in love with editing and writing stories, and I started off like just critiquing movies that were bad, because you know what people love watching? Critiques on movies that are bad. And now critiquing movies that are good. I fell in love with a show called Stranger Things. A friend of mine, Punkin' Nonstop, actually bought me the season 1 DVD years and years ago. They no longer sell DVDs because Netflix needs that money, right? But love Stranger Things, and the 5th season has been rolling around, and everybody has an opinion. I don't want to talk about Stranger Things, but the point I bring up here is that I've realized that no matter what you do, no matter what you create, no matter if you're in focus or not, someone's going to say something. It doesn't matter your budget. People are just trying to talk. They're just trying to say something because we're all attention-starved weirdos who need someone to pay attention to us so we can feel like we actually exist. And for a long time, I have lived in a cage, trying to appease people, trying not to be perceived, trying anything to not get bullied. It's funny because I started a YouTube channel where I did a lot of cringe things, like drowning myself in water, or just saying a lot of stuff that is ridiculously cringe. And I'm really sick of hiding myself. I'm really sick of trying to not be bullied, trying not to be insulted, because a lot of the time I have held on to those insults and they have just plagued me for so long. 2025, I've seen a lot of people who do not want to be themselves. People who have given up on trying to be alive. People who just want to sit there and pretend like everything's okay and just put every little wrong thing into a box and put it away and never look at that box. I have seen people who would rather just shut up and take it so it goes away and they don't have to deal with it anymore. And that's not someone I want to be. All cards on the table. I have gone no contact with my family. I used to live with my grandmother's. Some really terrible things happened. I moved out. I moved in with other family. Didn't work out. And I lost contact with my support system. I say support because they were never really supportive. And when I say that, I don't mean they weren't supportive in my career of filmmaking. They never gave me money. They never, sent me to college. No, they just never cared about me. They never watched any of this. They never saw what I was doing or saw my interests and actually tried to connect with me. They didn't know anything. You could ask them what they thought my favorite color was, and they wouldn't know. They just weren't supportive people. They didn't care about me, and I cared more about them than they cared about me, and it took me a long time to figure that out. And even before that, I had a friend group I was head over heels with that actually made me feel like I belonged. Things happened. I sort of exiled myself after some stuff went down because I didn't know how to face it. I didn't know how to deal with it. There was a weird hierarchy that I didn't know how to navigate, and I ended up just disappearing. Still haven't really dealt with that. I'm going through to therapy, but as of right now, I'm living with my partner, who I love very much, and who loves me and makes me feel supportive and loved, and who makes me hats all the time. And I have my own set of friends who are all disbanded at this point. Not disbanded from the friendship, just disbanded because we're all working to survive underneath capitalism. And that is who I am these days. I am very against all of this because who I've discovered I am is someone who yearns for community, someone who yearns for support, but not just from others. I want to support others I have met along the way as well. A friend of mine I met in college, his name is Kevin Hollick. He has music that he does under Liminal Cinema. He made an EP, he made 2. I listen to him. They're very great. I love supporting things that he works on. I'm blown away by. He did this short film that I really liked and really respected, and I'm actually reaching out for him to help me with another project I'm working on. I'll get into the projects later. There's another musician named Guy Fawkes that I fucking love, dude. That guy goddamn rocks, dude. Outer Shapes, Marieke Liebe. I actually... If I mispronounce that, I'm so sorry, Marieke. I think about it all the time. I'm trying not to mispronounce it. But she did an EP as well that I reached out for, and she signed it and gave me a wonderful message. Thank you so much. And just so many wonderful artists that I have the opportunity to just connect with. And that's all I ever wanted was connection. Because disconnected people who don't understand or have never felt what it was like to feel in a solid moment where you're not just freaking out and trying to embrace for impact when it all just falls apart. I was diagnosed with ADD, ADHD at a very young age, but my family never told me. They like to hide it. didn't exactly help me. I had a severe learning disability that still plagues me to this very day. They used to tell me when I would, in like second, third, fourth grade, whatever, they're like, make sure you go get your candy from the nurse's office before lunch. It was Ritalin. I had no idea. I'm saying all of these things because I made a lot of unspoken rules for myself not to discuss any of this, not to open up, not to be vulnerable. I made a lot of unspoken rules about I have to wear this fucking sweater every time I'm on camera, and these glasses and a hat. And one of the reasons I did that, first off, everyone needs a gimmick, and I thought like I needed a uniform. I was a huge fan of Nostalgia Critic. He had a uniform. I wanted a uniform. But a big reason I chose these goddamn glasses I got from Five Below that are the same fucking glasses I've always used is because I hate my dark circles. I hate, cause ever since I was in high school, I always had these giant fucking dark circles that my mother would always make fun of me for and say like, oh, you don't get enough sleep, or da, 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 da. I've always had them. Always. Never mattered how much sleep I got. Always had them. So I know I always wanted a big reveal of some sort, and maybe I'll still get that at some point, but yeah. I'm really sick of hiding myself. I really am. Another thing that happened was that actually kept me from living life in general. When I broke apart from my friend group, it's like 2019, like early 2019, I think, or mid 2019, I can't remember. When Season of the Cursed first came out, because I needed to do Season of the Cursed because I needed to do something to make myself feel like I could do something by myself and to give myself some confidence. And so I did that, and I was actually pretty confident with it for a while. Punkin' Nonstop, thank you so much for putting up with me for that month, and for still putting up with me. I don't think you're putting up with me. I think we're really good friends, and I appreciate you for being in my life. But another thing that happened around that time was the pandemic. And I felt like, oh, this is such sick timing. I am severely depressed, and I have no friends, and now the entire world has no friends now either. We can all just sit at home and just be okay, and I can just sit in my depression and not have to do anything about it. And I felt so ashamed of myself. I felt so ashamed of myself because of the exiling of myself from that group. A lot of stuff happened. But I don't know. I lost my hair. And that also added a lot to the severe shame I felt, because I felt pretty when I had my hair. I felt good when I had my hair. I felt valued when I had my hair. Like, people would look at me and I felt like they were liking me. That's something I always wanted, was just for people to like me. Because for so long, the closest people I had just didn't. And I had to put up with the fact that I had to smile and laugh when they would make jokes at my expense, because that was the only level of connection I was going to have with these people. And it took me a long time to realize that. It took me even longer to realize that it wasn't my fault. And it took me longer than that to realize that they were never going to change, no matter how much I tried. I think after the last gimmick episode I put out, I started working on Eldritch Journeys, which was a D&D podcast, highly inspired by the Adventure Zone. Thanks, McElboy. And I put a lot of work into it. I put a lot of effort into it. It was one of the hardest working things I ever worked on, and I was so enamored with it, and it gave me a lot of confidence. And when I lost the people in my life because of different ideologies, things I just couldn't stand for anymore or ignore. I lost the opportunity to keep that project going. And I don't even want to say I chose to step away from that, because people who didn't understand the project and how much of a lifeline it was for me to stay alive, to be true to who I was, while I was so busy just trying to survive by myself, isolated, undiagnosed with a learning disability that kept me from just functioning normally. It was the most important thing I had, to feel like I was of some sort of value. And when those people just didn't give it any respect, no matter how much I told them, how much work I put into it, how much I needed it, they walked away. And that was one of the last straws I needed to just say, if you don't care, then I can't care anymore. And it's still an ongoing issue, trying to find value for myself, find the boundaries that I need to keep up, and to know, like, these are mine and I'm allowed to keep these, and if people try to push past them or not care about them, then they are not allowed in my life. I have an aunt who still messages me, even though I tell them very specifically, very straightforward, if you want to stay in my life, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to get better. And if you're not willing to do those things, then go away, because I don't need you to just message me every holiday because you remember I exist. That's not something That's not something I respond to anymore. Relationships are hard. They're really, really hard. Friendships are difficult too. They take a lot of effort just to remain true. They take a lot of communication just to stay and to keep the relationship valuable to both people. And relationships are inconvenient. They are. If I have a friend of mine call me and say, hey, I'm out here, I'm 2 hours away, I need you to come help me out because my car broke down, that's a very inconvenient thing for me. But I feel grateful for that opportunity to show someone else that I care about them. If I have a friend reach out to me and say, hey, I just worked on this thing, it's very important to me, I would like to hear your thoughts on it, it's this 5-hour-long podcast, that's an inconvenient thing for me, because, hey, maybe it's not something I'm super interested in, but I am grateful for that opportunity to show that person that I care about them and the work they create, because that is what a relationship is. I'm working on a project with this sweater, the gimmick sweater, so to speak. It's going to be my last portrayal of gimmick. It's something that I'm working on with Punkin' Nonstop. It's Season of the Curse 2. I'm actually working on one of the scenes for it in the background here. And I don't hate it. So you can see the Eldritch Journeys logo in there. My friend Jens is a wonderful artist, and he made that logo. And Jace is back, so once he gets in my lap, I'm going to lift him up into the screen here. But actually, sorry it took so long for the cut back. I spent like 10 minutes looking for my septum because I wanted to show my septum. I love this septum. It's a little starburst, and every time I kiss my partner, I stab them in the face. I forgot where I left off in the last part, but I'm a different person now. And that's okay. I'm trying to let go of these rules that I have shackled myself with. I actually got my ears pierced several birthdays ago. One of the best decisions I ever made, because I like wearing earrings. And it's just another way for me to accessorize. There's still green and orange. Still love green and orange. I also love pink now. Love pastel pink. I guess that's part of it, is that no matter how much you change, you will always bring those parts of yourself with you into the future, if you want them to. The parts that you actually like. And there were parts of me that I actually liked. Gimmick was an identity I kept for a long time. I also went by DJ. If you watch any of the Punkin' Nonstop videos, you should. He's got thousands of his videos, and he puts a lot of work into it. Go check out his stuff. But he calls me DJ, and I still am okay with DJ, but I go by Marson now. Marson Saturday. It's a name I really love, and I prefer, to be honest. Well, I guess at the same time as I was working on Eldritch Journeys, which was a D&D game turned audio drama, I still have hundreds of business cards for him, but I was also working on something called Puzzle Valley. It was set in 2018, and it starred my really great friends Punkin' Nonstop as Dean K, Adrian as Kane Cortez, and my friend Ash as the Wellington twins in the fictional world Puzzle Valley. It was a murder mystery audio drama with a wonderful soundtrack, and I worked on it for a long time. It's a project I'm incredibly proud of, and it was something that helped me get through a lot of bad times in my life. And the second episode I actually recorded on the worst day of my life. Fun fact, I talk about it in the finale episode, which is fine, but it was the worst day of my life. Won't get into it, but Puzzle Valley made it better. And Puzzle Valley made my life better, and I finished the season of Puzzle Valley 2018, and I was incredibly proud of it. It helped me work through a lot of stuff I was working through. Redundant, but it helped a lot, and I'm now working on Puzzle Valley 2000. It's a murder mystery set in the year 2000, starring some of my really good friends. Adele as Jasmine Tonin, Teresa as Daisy Mix, Ryan as Mark Pebbles, and I play all the rest. But it also has an original soundtrack, and it's something I'm working on. The first 2 episodes are out right now. There's a bunch of different artists that I had reached out to. Basically, I asked if I can use their music for the radio station, Puzzle Valley Radio, to kind of transition between scenes and also just give the story life, and they have given the story life. I bring that project up as an update. It is something I am working on. The first 2 episodes are out, and I'm very proud of them. They're very good. I love them so much. Rise of Leo let me use one of their songs, Therapy, for the first episode. And I asked for another artist, Violet Eve, Plastic Hearts and Paper Rings, first episode, FreckleFace, Sunburned Sky in the second episode, Rise of Leo, Therapy in the first episode. And there's a lot of other songs that I have reached out to other artists for the project. Wonderful, wonderful artists that I have discovered, and it's so hard not to feel intimidated by them because the art I made or make isn't the best quality, because I'm DIY. I don't know how to do most of the stuff I do until I do it. And I love being a bad artist. I do. I started painting, actually, a couple years ago. I made my first bad painting. I like it. I like being able to create art, even if it isn't the best stuff in the world. But when I'm working on film when I'm working on editing, I start getting very embarrassed. I get very, I hate using this word cringed, because I think cringe is a terrible, terrible idea, that you feel cringe and embarrassment for a thing that you're making because you're worried about other people making fun of it. And that's not how you make art. And that's something that has been plaguing me. The reason I'm making this update in the first place is because I need to just put something out there just to feel like I can keep going. There's so many projects I'm working on right now that I'm just struggling to finish. I'm working on the 3rd episode of Puzzle Valley 2000, and I could just pound right through it, but something, every time I try doing it, my focus just goes away and I just feel embarrassed. Because I feel like I don't know what I'm doing. And the trick here is that no one knows what they're doing. No one. And I don't know how to keep telling myself that no one knows what they're doing, so it's okay that I just keep going. It's hard. I'm working on Season of the Curse 2 over there, one of the first openings. I filmed that with Nate and Adrian and Ash, and on that day I was so just not good. I was mentally just not there, and my shot list I just had to throw out the window, and like I do every time when I'm recording audio, I just hit record and I do not stop it. And so I now have 4 hours of audio that I'm going through trying to make sense of it, and that's just what happens, baby. That's just what happens to me, because ADHD is... it's so hard. I'm working on Season of the Curse 2. Promised a trailer to be out a while ago, and I didn't, because I realized that there's not a lot of footage of me in there. There's not a lot of just footage of just me or gimmick, because I'm behind the camera and I'm focusing on everything else, and I don't know how to be like, all right, guys, now camera's on me. Camera's on this dude. It's a struggle. It's always a struggle. One of the biggest projects I'm working on that I don't know if I... Give me a second. But another project I've been working on for a very long time. And I don't want to get too into it, because there's a documentary series that I've been working on about this project, because I started it back in 2016. I think I was 19. No, if I was 20, if it was, because it was like late 2015 we started it. We started filming June 18th is when we started filming it. It was me and my childhood friends in that friend group I told you about, where I kind of, everything just... I'm working on this documentary series for that project because a lot of stuff happened, and we started working on it in 2015. I actually wrote this script for it in like a day, because I think my friend at the time told me, like, hey, we'll do this if you write the script within like this amount of time. And if I think about it, he might have given me like a week to write the script, which still isn't a lot of time, but I waited till the very last second, and I took like a bunch of 5-hour energies and pounded through a script, and I just kind of like word vomited the whole script, and none of it made sense. None of the characters really like worked properly, but I hammered it out, and we got it, and it still had a few drafts that we got together. I remember one time coming over to Natasha's house with my buddy, and we were reading through it, and I was reading the dialogue out loud, and in the middle of it, I was like, and it sounds like they're middle schoolers. And they were both like, oh, thank God you said something. Yeah, that script has gone through many, many, many drafts, to the point where I think a month ago, I finally was like, oh, I finished the final draft of this script. And I think I still got one more in me. It's almost done. But the project I've been working on for a very long time. I don't know why I've held on. Well, I know why I've held on so tight. We had a house. We were filming in it. We were kids. We were filming in it, and I remember one of the nights, the last night. It was the night I got this tattoo of it. And I got a tattoo of the project to kind of commemorate that we were finishing it that night because we were filming the rest of the scenes that night. And someone came home early. We were allowed to be there, but like they kicked us out, essentially. It filled me with a lot of anxiety, a lot of shame, a lot of dread, messed with my self-esteem because I now had this tattoo in order to like push me to finish it. And it is still pushing me to finish it to this day. So what I wanted to show you was this. This is a painting for the project, which is called The Doorman. I'm actually changing the name, but that'll be revealed later down the line. But this is a painting I worked on for the project. It's called The Doorman. And this was kind of like my first thoughts about what the project was going to be. Not like I didn't paint this so far off, but like this was my idea in my first draft of what I thought the project was about. It was just like I had this idea of a door and just standing upright in a forest, and like that's all the visual I needed, right? But 10 years is a lot of time, which is how long I've been working on this thing. Majority of that has been solo. So my idea of what the movie is about now is this. And it's not the best painting in the world, but this is probably my favorite painting I've ever done. Just because it helps solidify what I was trying to say with the project. It may not mean anything to anybody without any context, but I love it. It gave me a lot of confidence, and the first time I worked on this thing, I was like, wow, I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. And I think that's what I've discovered about myself through art, is that working on these things has did help me discover what I value, who I want to be, who I no longer wish to be. Doorman is still a ways away. I had to get a bunch of different actors to dub the entire project, and a lot of additional scenes that I'm still going to be working on. I got to do a table read with them in the coming future after I finish this fucking script. I've finished it a bunch of times. I think this last time has to be it, because I just have to let this thing go. But that's something I'm working on, is The Doorman. And I'm working on Puzzle Valley 2000. And I'm working on Season of the Curse 2. Sorry for the mic, I'm working on Season of the Curse 2. And it's a lot. It's a lot. Especially in today's day and age. And I just need to stop giving myself these unspoken rules. One of them being I wasn't allowed to talk about The Doorman until it was done. That was one of my rules, because the people I worked on it with are no longer in my life. And it filled me with such embarrassment, and it made me feel like such a loser to be holding on to this thing because people I cared about worked on it with me. And it made me feel so awful. So I kept it quiet. But as many times as I've wanted to just give up and just like let it just dissipate, I just couldn't. Even if I didn't have this fucking tattoo, I don't know if I would have been able to let it go, because I'm just that stubborn of a person. Or that sentimental, whichever way you want to look at it. With Season of the Curse 2, that's a project I've been working on that I care a lot about, but every time I show up on set, it is just kind of a nightmare in my head. because I want it to be so perfect, and I need to let go of wanting everything to be perfect. This scene that I'm working on right now, every time I start touching it, it fills me with dread because it was supposed to be something different, and now it's not. But that's okay. Puzzle Valley 2000 requires a lot of hands, a lot of love, a lot of care, a lot of editing, and a lot of hours. And it fills me with dread sometimes when I jump on it, because I have that same trauma from past projects I've worked on where people have just given up on me, or I realize that they don't care as much as I do. And it hurts. And not only does it affect the projects I work on, but it also affects how I treat people in my day-to-day life. I am constantly afraid they're just going to abandon me. I have huge abandonment issues because of that. And it's something I'm working on. It's something I need to figure out. But the only way to do that is by building community and building trust in people and making myself feel like I'm not a burden and that I have self-value. I have self-worth. And that's why I had to just come out here and drop all of this, because I've been holding on to this rule that I had to wear the gimmick stuff whenever I got on the gimmick channel. And the gimmick channel had to stay the gimmick channel. It had to be Splat House ideas. And honestly, I'm kind of toying with changing the name. I don't know if I will. Maybe that's an update video for a later day, later time. Don't know. There's a lot of videos I've wanted to do. In Puzzle Valley, there's a character named Mr. Manly. He is a professional wrestler, and he is based off of the most infamous and redacted character in all of professional wrestling, Chris Benoit. And because of that, and my own fear of being perceived and people taking that a different way of like, I'm glorifying this person when I'm really not. It's more of a metaphor for what I'm trying to say about masculinity. And I've thought about doing a video about my experience with that wrestler, because when I was a kid, he was my favorite wrestler. And he was the reason I found out that professional wrestling was fake. That's for a different thing, but that's a thing I want to work on, that I've been struggling with touching, because I've had all these unspoken rules about what I've had to do. There's another project that I worked on. It's just a vlog, but it was my cousin BJ. When I moved down to Kentucky, he plays Baguio in Eldritch Journeys. When I moved down to Kentucky, we started playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Because I was so depressed and I needed something to take my mind off of it. I love Yu-Gi-Oh! Love playing Yu-Gi-Oh! I love playing Yu-Gi-Oh! But when I'm playing Yu-Gi-Oh! I hate myself because I lose, because I play Ojamas, a deck that is basically built to lose. But regardless, I made a vlog of the first time I took BJ to locals, to a card shop, to play in the local tournaments for Yu-Gi-Oh! And it was a wonderful time. And I felt so happy with our experience, because he was so happy that he got to play for the first time. And now he continues to go to his card shops, local card shops, and play cards. He plays Magic now. So do I. Not because I want to, but because no one will play Yu-Gi-Oh! With me. But that's a vlog I've wanted to do, where I've just wanted to drop, but like I'm in it and I have no glasses and I'm not gimmick, and I have the long hair when I was trying to grow it a ponytail before I eventually shaved it. There's just a lot of stuff I've wanted to do that I've kept myself from doing because I've had all these unspoken rules. And don't even get me started on the fact that now you have to make TikToks for the goddamn things to get them to get traction. It is a nightmare scenario sometimes with social media and with content. I hate content. I hate the idea of content, because content is just built there to be consumed and digested and forgotten about, and I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I want to make art. Doorman, I spent a long time looking at the footage for Doorman knowing that this was just garbage. And I did not know how to put it together. I knew it was just a bunch of missing pieces of a guy who had no idea what he was doing, just filming something and hoping it'll come together. And you know what? It eventually did. I'm like really proud of the stuff with Doorman, and I want it to come together, and it's one of the reasons it's taken so long for me to do anything with it, to finally finalize it, is because I want it to be good, and I honestly think now it can be. I just need to keep going a little bit longer. It's hard. It's just hard doing all of this stuff. I never would have realized I was an artist if I was still attached to these people that never supported me. To them, art and artistry was a dirty word, especially when you have to think about reality, even though reality doesn't exist, and the reality you're thinking about is just a made-up lie, propaganda given to you by people who just want you to keep on going the way they want you to. But I am an artist. I am someone who would die if I can't create. And I am dying right now because it is so hard to create and to actually move forward. Every time I sit at this desk and I try, it is so fucking hard because I'm just filled with so much goddamn embarrassment for the stuff I'm looking at because I can't afford $5,000 equipment. And I am just one person. One person surrounded by some very loving and supportive people now that I am so grateful for. Black Guy Fawkes made a song free of charge for season of The Curse 2. Puddle Noir is allowing us to use Sun Chaser, one of my favorite fucking songs. Marieke Liebe for Doorman is allowing me to use Bones, which is a song. Marieke, if you ever see this video, Bones is a song that makes me feel so seen that I Doorman was waiting for that song to be made. Thank you. One of the projects I was actually, it was just a D&D session for Eldritch Journeys. It was a little side quest with some people from Harry Wizard Gaming. They played some characters, including my friend Jens, who I love and adore. And we actually worked on that episode for so long. We actually worked on this session, and it went well. It was great. It was fun. But it takes a lot to edit it because Eldritch Journeys is essentially over. As much as I want to give it a proper send-off, and maybe I will someday. But I don't think I can do it the way that I wanted it to, with the people I wanted it to. And when I finally realized that, I was in the midst of working on that side quest for Harry Wizard Gaming, and I just got severely depressed. And I never finished it. That's something I want to do this year. And I want to give that to Harry Wizard Gaming. But go support them if you can. I am an artist. Doodly-doo. Speaking of that, I was on a home movies podcast. I had never seen the Adult Swim animated cartoon Home Movies, and my friend Tim was obsessed with the show, loves this show, has so much passion for the show. Or we started a home movies podcast where it was me, him, Adele, also a very good friend of mine who was in Puzzle Valley 2000, and we went episode by episode through the entire series, and we broke down every single episode. And I can't tell you how great of an experience that was, because it allowed me to be creative and to create a project with someone else where they were the person pushing through and I didn't have to be the one who was making this thing happen while pulling someone up a hill. And I was trying my best not to be that person for Tim. We had artists make stickers. I'm sure if you reach out to the email rhmpod@gmail.com, he'd be more than happy to send you some. But we had like 5 pieces of art made, one by my partner Nick, one by our friend Jens, by my cousin Shannon, who is a wonderful artist, and I am so proud of her, and I'm so happy that we were finally like trying to form a relationship together, personal family stuff. But that being said, I am just so thankful to have art in my life and to the people in the world who are doing what they can to make a difference, because it is really, 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 really hard out there right now. There are so many evil things happening, and it is so easy for us to fall down into the well of woe, thinking that nothing good will ever happen again. But the only way forward is through the people that we've connected with, the community we've built, and for us to look ourselves in the eyes and say, we don't have to be those people anymore. I think I'm coming to the end of this video and to this update, but let me tell you what I am going to be doing. Besides all of these projects, besides Puzzle Valley 2000, besides Doorman, besides Season of the Curse 2, besides just working on projects, I just want to be a better person. I want to be a happier person. I don't know how I'll get there, especially when I have to spend most of my waking life trying to work hard enough to build a fortune just to make sure that I don't die in the cold somewhere. But I'm going to try. And I'm going to try again. And I think that's just what we have to do. I think we're at the end of this video. I'm a different person now. I'll be a different person tomorrow. And that's okay. No more rules. We can't keep following the same rules that other people refuse to follow themselves. No more rules. In the words of a very good friend of mine, I will change. Thank you for watching, and I hope I actually make the things I've talked about making today, and I hope I can go into 2026 without being so goddamn scared. Usually I say clear your schedules, gentlemen, but I don't think I will anymore. Just be better people. Thank you.